The morning sun, a relentless intruder, filtered through the window blinds, casting a bright intrusion onto the peaceful scene of the sleeping man. The blaring alarm jolted him awake. Slowly opening his eyes, he was taken aback to find peculiar red characters inscribed on the ceiling and walls, cautioning, "Don't let them know that you can see them." As he perspired and puzzled over the bizarre scene, questions about its origin and the enigmatic writer filled his mind. In the midst of his bewilderment, the red characters gradually faded away, disappearing entirely. Doubt crept in as he questioned if he was half asleep, dreaming, or hallucinating, rubbing his eyes for clarity. A swift survey of his surroundings revealed he wasn't in his bedroom. Abruptly, a surge of pain coursed through his body. His realization deepened as he came to grips with the cross-dimensional shift into another's body. The merging memories painted a vivid contrast between their lives, him, an orphan securing a spot in a prestigious university, and the original owner, his doppelganger, choosing a divergent path by dropping out of high school and entering the realm of real estate sales. As he contemplated the blood-written characters and the absence of such strangeness in the original body owner's memories, a feminine voice startled him. An astonishing woman, elegantly clad in a white nightie, leaned against the room's door. "Honey, it's time for breakfast," she told him. Stunned by the revelation of his marriage in this unfamiliar world, she gracefully took a seat beside him. Her beautiful smile illuminated the room as she gently reminded him that it was time for breakfast. Amid the surreal circumstances, a sense of gratitude washed over him. The bewildering experience had, unexpectedly, led him to the discovery of a beautiful and kind wife. Contemplating what term of endearment to use, wife, lady, or sweetheart, he decided on addressing her by name. His quest to find her name within his memories, however, turned into a shocking revelation. Despite her claim to be his wife, there was no trace of her in the recollections of the original body's owner. A sense of bewilderment enveloped him as he grappled with the disconnect between the woman sitting beside him and the missing pieces in the puzzle of his memories. A sudden change swept across her countenance, the once serene expression now replaced by something disconcerting. She locked eyes with him, her gaze unwavering, seemingly delving into the depths of his soul. Oblivious to a fly landing in her eye, she maintained the intense stare. Tentatively, he broke the silence, posing the inquiry that hung in the air, asking her who she truly was. In a chilling instant, his once beautiful wife metamorphosed into a demonic creature, her voice adopting a monstrous tone as she questioned his ability to see her. Terror gripped his chest, cold sweat forming on his forehead, and overwhelming vulnerability rendering him immobile. Before him stood a nightmarish figure with red eyes, a wide mouth brimming with sharp teeth, and elongated claws, releasing a piercing shriek. In a gruesome turn of events, she bit off his head, extinguishing his life instantly. Abruptly awakened, wide-eyed and terror-stricken, his heart raced in the midst of a chilling sense of unease lingering in the room. Profusely sweating, he grappled with the unfolding mystery, questioning if he was dead or trapped within a dream. To his surprise, the same red characters adorned the ceiling once more. Once again, they began to fade out, gradually disappearing before his eyes. Realizing it wasn't a dream, he trembled with fear, contemplating the significance of the characters. Could they be a hint, urging him to act as if he were blind? Yet, conflicting with his memories, the original body owner wasn't blind. Moreover, the recollections painted a picture of a solitary existence, devoid of a wife and absent of any unusual activities. The revelation struck, the characters were a message, warning him not to let his wife know he could see her. As if on cue, his wife entered the room, once again inviting him to breakfast. Armed with this newfound knowledge, he chose to ignore her this time. Seated on the edge of the bed, he stared at the ground, shivering with fear. Ignoring her seemed like a survival strategy, but to his surprise, she sat on the ground in front of him, locking eyes and uttering her familiar phrase. "Honey, you're awake. It's time for breakfast." Deep inside, he recognized that any unplanned move could result in instant danger. In a chilling moment, her head twisted 180 degrees, jolting him with the sudden move. Observing his reaction, she discerned that he could see her, leading to another fatal outcome. Upon waking once more, pain and anger engulfed him. The lingering question persisted, was this a death reset or an endless loop? Did each demise usher him back to the starting point, akin to a save point in a video game? While sitting on his bed, he was wondering about his wife's actions. He just lowered his head and didn't look at her. She, on the other hand, didn't let him alone and came near him. It's as if she wanted to confirm whether he could see her or not to kill him again. In a bid to divert his attention, he reached for his phone, holding it close as he immersed himself in watching a streamer. His so-called wife re-entered the room, questioning why he was watching another girl and if he no longer liked her. Clenching his teeth in fear, he feigned ignorance, pretending she didn't exist, and continued watching his phone. In a sudden revelation, she confronted him about his eyesight, expressing awareness that he wasn't nearsighted. Though initially shocked, he managed to calm himself, resuming the activity on his phone. However, the screen unfolded a perplexing sight: his wife, lying on the bed, addressing him through the device. "Honey, do I look good?" He hastily jumped from his bed and threw the phone away. His body quivered with fear as he shrank back, visibly shaken by what he had just witnessed on his phone. Glancing back, he saw his monstrous wife behind him. Her chilling monster's voice echoed, exclaiming, "You can see me," sending shivers through the air. He turned towards her, ready to deliver a punch on her. He exclaimed with anger that he can see her. She dodged his punch with a swift move and bit his arm off. "By now, I think we all know what will happen next." He kept dying one time after another. One time he tried to escape from the house, but he couldn't. After that he decided to surrender. My wife is so nice." "That's right, I can see you, go ahead and eat." Death continued. Each time he died he received some of the original body's memories and gained some understanding of what kind of world is this. After the 18th death, a surge of questions enveloped him: why the continuous cycle of dying and resetting, who wrote the bloody text on the ceiling, and why it vanished after being seen. The mysterious nature of these occurrences fueled his anger, prompting a vow to confront his wife. Filled with rage, he declared his intent to end the relentless cycle. No one could kill him 18 times without facing consequences. As she entered the room again, beckoning him to wake up and join her for breakfast, he was prepared this time. Observing a pattern of her never making physical contact, he stood before her. Surprising him with a provocative question, she asked if he wanted to eat her first. Unfazed, he continued to ignore her, prompting the familiar inquiry, "Can you see me?" To her astonishment, he paid her no attention, walking right through her. The revelation dawned: she could only act when certain he could see her. Determined to break the pattern, he proceeded to the kitchen, preparing breakfast while steadfastly ignoring her. Seated at the table to enjoy his meal, she persisted, her face appearing on the table surface, questioning why he wasn't eating the breakfast she had supposedly made. Undeterred, he continued to disregard her, making his way to the apartment exit. As he grasped the door handle, her eyes manifested on it in a last attempt to draw his attention. Unmoved, he left the apartment, finally breaking free from her eerie influence. Stepping outside, he was met with a landscape of profound desolation, an eerie manifestation of chaos replacing the familiar. The haunting scene left him questioning if this was a form of hell. Suddenly, a fit of hysterical laughter overcame him as he remarked on the fascinating nature of this altered world. Simultaneously, a wave of disgust surged within him, compelling him to uncontrollably vomit in response to the unsettling reality he now faced. Out of nowhere, a cute little girl materialized, expressing concern about his well-being and inquiring if he was sick. Reassuring her that he was fine, he marveled at the little girl's cuteness, briefly contemplating the idea of having such an adorable daughter. The atmosphere abruptly shifted as the innocent facade vanished, revealing a demonic entity. Exclaiming, "You can see me," it brandished a large sword, ready to strike. In the midst of the surreal encounter, he burst into maniacal laughter, proclaiming the unfolding events as truly fascinating. While pointing at the monstrous entity, he expressed a newfound preference for his current self, citing the lack of future burdens when dealing with such creatures. Embracing his newfound dark resolve, he boldly declared his intent to eliminate the eerie entities in this world, relishing the excitement of their demise. However, his proclamation was abruptly cut short as the monsters swiftly retaliated, smashing him and extinguishing his life in an instant. Upon restarting, he found himself sitting on a bench in a park. Observing his surroundings for half a day, he discerned that this world was rife with peculiarities. One type of strangeness had a bizarre appearance but lacked the ability to affect anything despite their aggressiveness. Another type, indistinguishable from humans, disguised themselves as close friends and family members. Engaging their targets in conversation, they waited for a response before making their move, just like his lovely wife. Even though ordinary people don't notice their presence at all, they still engage in role-playing with someone. But what is this all for? Could it be that the eerie attempting to blend into human life? Checking his phone, Fong discovered a stern message from his boss Wu Dahai in the workgroup. It scolded him for being absent in the afternoon and questioned his punctuality, hinting at potential consequences for his bonus and commission. This message triggered Fong Xiu's recollection that the original owner had sold a villa 6 months ago, and he was yet to receive his due commission. In response to his boss's message, Fong Xiu declared his resignation and promised to settle the commission for the last Bailu villa later at the sales office. Hastening on his bicycle, he arrived only to find the once familiar surroundings strangely altered. As he approached the building entrance, his phone rang. It was his coworker inquiring about his well-being and expressing concern as Fong Xiu hadn't answered calls that day. Fong Xiu assured him that everything was fine and asked if they were currently at the office. His friend warned him about the boss's anger, leading to an unexpected overtime request. Fong Xiu assured his friend he'd arrive soon and ended the call. As he gazed at the building in front of him, he discovered the entire Bailu Academy had transformed into a mental hospital. While pondering the eeriness of this unexpected transformation, Fong Xiu accidentally collided with an invisible obstacle. Reacting quickly, he extended his hands to assess the situation and realized, to his embarrassment, that he had inadvertently touched a young woman. With a swift motion, the girl's hand connected with the man's cheek, leaving a resonating slap that echoed in the tense silence. She scornfully referred to him as a stinkin' rascal and sternly warned him that she would file a complaint against his inappropriate behavior. Stunned by the forceful slap, he snapped back to reality, only to discover himself standing against the gates of Bailu Academy. Confused and horrified by the sudden shift, he blinked and, to his astonishment, found himself once more in front of the mental hospital. A perplexed thought crossed his mind. What is going on? Wasn't Bailu Academy just right in front of me? Shaken and hesitant, Fong Xiu extended his hand towards the hospital wall in front of him. To his bewilderment, his hand effortlessly passed through the wall as if it didn't exist. Intrigued and unsettled, he questioned in his mind why he could see the mental hospital but couldn't physically touch its form. Could it be like those eerie things that can only act when they get a response? Intrigued by the inexplicable, Fong Xiu hesitantly reached out to the hospital wall. To his surprise, his hand passed through it as if encountering a hologram. In an abrupt twist, he found himself inside the mental hospital. Navigating the hospital corridors, Fong Xiu discovered the main hall, cafeteria, restroom, and activity room all eerily empty. However, as he entered the ward area, an unsettling scent of blood permeated the air, raising his senses on edge. Persistently moving through the hospital's rooms, Fong Xiu encountered a peculiar woman who addressed him as Big Brother, but he chose to ignore her. In the next room, a strange four-eyed monster caught his eye, yet he strolled past it without hesitation. Continuing his journey, he faced a myriad of bizarre phenomena. Deep within, Fong Xiu maintained a calm demeanor in the presence of these unsettling ghosts, drawing strength from his wife's remarkable feat of 18 consecutive kills, which made navigating through the eerie encounters surprisingly manageable for him. In the midst of his stroll, scattered papers caught his attention, sparking a curiosity about their potential insights into the place. One particular paper, labeled number 128, Experimental Body, to transform into something strange, intrigued him. The revelation within prompted contemplation, leading him to ponder whether the apparitions haunting the wards were once human. Attempting to seize one of the papers, Fong Xiu found them elusive, discovering they were mere illusions. As he crouched down, an unsettling sensation swept through him. The nurse's hair, suspended from the ceiling, grazed his head. Though caught off guard, Fong Xiu maintained composure, skillfully feigning ignorance to the ethereal presence. Thoughts racing, he reasoned that if clues were found in the office, there likely existed more scattered elsewhere. Convinced that the director's office held the key to unraveling the mysteries and answering his looming questions. Entering a different section of the mental hospital, he discerned an unexpected overlap with the sales building. Recognizing the absence of the director's office on the first floor, he made the decision to ascend the stairs, driven by the realization that the elusive answers he sought might be awaiting discovery on the upper levels. Ascending to the second floor, Fong Xiu unexpectedly encountered his friend Zhao Hao and his irate former boss, Wu Dehai, who sternly questioned his audacity to show up after being fired. Unfazed, Fong Xiu, seemingly oblivious to Dehai's words, brushed them aside, resolutely continuing his ascent to the third floor. Incensed by Fong Xiu's disregard, Wu Dehai fumed. "How dare you push me? Have you lost your mind, Fong Xiu?" Turning to Zhao Hao, he demanded assistance, urging him to join in stopping Fong Xiu's progress through the building. On the third floor, Fong Xiu's quest reached fruition as he stumbled upon what he sought, the director's office. Positioned on the third floor, Fong Xiu found himself standing in front of a door, his hand reaching out to grasp the doorknob. From behind, Wu Dehai's voice echoed, imploring him to stop. Despite the pleas, Fong Xiu remained indifferent to Wu Dehai's warnings and proceeded to open the door without a second thought. Surprise registered on his face as he stumbled upon two employees inside, entangled in intimate activities. The girl was identified as Fei Fei, and the man as Wang Xiao. Amid hastily pulling up his pants, Wang Xiao erupted in anger, shouting furiously, "Are you insane? Who the hell let you in?" Undeterred, Fong Xiu pressed forward, seizing Fei Fei by the hand. Witnessing this, his friend hurried towards them, while Fei Fei protested, shouting for him to let her go and claiming that he was causing her pain. Simultaneously, Wang Xiao exclaimed in outrage, questioning how Fong Xiu dared to touch her. Dismissing her with a swift gesture, Fong Xiu exclaimed about her being noisy and annoying. However, it soon became apparent that his action was aimed at reaching for the paper on the bench behind her. As Fong Xiu gazed at the paper, a subtle grin crept across his face. Inwardly, he acknowledged that a significant secret lay concealed within the confines of this mental hospital. The contents of the paper revealed a mysterious message. As a person chosen by destiny, do you want to know the truth of this world? Do you want to unravel the secrets of what ghosts truly are? You've ventured this far, undoubtedly burdened with questions. Fear not, my friend. I've entrusted everything to the Green Mountain Mental Hospital, Building C, Room 520. All the answers you seek are there. Embark on the journey to discover the truth. When you unravel the mysteries, it will mark the moment for you to make a choice. Trust your heart and embrace the gift of destiny. The letter, signed by someone named Zhou Qing Fong, hinted at his likely role as the director of the Green Mountain Mental Hospital. Fong Xiu found himself pondering over the recipient of this mysterious letter. A nagging thought lingered. Did Zhou Qing Fong already anticipate his arrival? With these questions swirling in his mind, Fong Xiu left the room. Suddenly, a power outage plunged the surroundings into complete darkness. Fei Fei voiced her fear, expressing discomfort in the pitch-black environment. Wang Xiao swiftly directed Wu Dehai to handle the situation, a responsibility to which Wu Dehai readily agreed. Guided by the light from their phone flashlights, they navigated their way out of the dark room. As they emerged, Fong Xiu was met with the startling revelation that the Green Mountain Mental Hospital had vanished. Fei Fei, gripped by fear from the darkness, sought solace. Meanwhile, Wang Xiao requested Wu Dehai to pass him the phone, only to be informed by Wu Dehai that there was no signal. With confidence, Wang Xiao asserted that, given his status and position, he could potentially access more information about the world's secrets than he could imagine. Continuing his explanation, Wang Xiao pointed out the lack of phone signal and the suppression of light. If he wasn't mistaken, he concluded that these signs indicated a distinct possibility. They might have entered the realm of the strange. Upon hearing this revelation, a mischievous grin spread across Fong Xiu's face. Seated in front of his computer, one of the employees grew irritated as he hadn't had a chance to save his work, realizing he now had to work overtime to recreate the report. In response, Wu Dehai sternly ordered him to cease complaining and instead investigate whether there was an issue with the circuit breaker. On the staircase, the security guard inquired about the well-being of the employees. One of them assured him that physically everyone was fine, but their mood was dampened by the prospect of working overtime. In response, the security guard expressed understanding and volunteered to check if there was a circuit breaker issue. In the office, a blanket of darkness engulfed everyone. Amidst the obscurity, one person fumbled to retrieve her fallen phone. After successfully locating it and activating the flashlight, she expressed surprise at its unusually dim glow. A concerned colleague suggested wiping the phone's flashlight, speculating that dust might be causing the issue. Frustrated, she retorted that she had already wiped it, but to no avail. Fong Xiu remarked that the flashlight on his phone also exhibited a dim glow. Another employee chimed in, noting the same issue with his flashlight. In the midst of the dimly lit confusion, a female employee directed her inquiry to Wang Xiao, seeking clarification about his mention of the realm of the strange. Another person inquired if the conversation alluded to ghosts, prompting the girl to express disbelief, questioning the existence of ghosts in the world. Abruptly, Wang Xiao erupted in anger, shouting, "Everyone, be quiet." He commanded silence and urged everyone to remain calm, emphasizing the importance of listening carefully to what he was about to say if they desired to survive. His forceful statement left everyone in stunned silence. Wang Xiao continued, revealing that the realm of the strange referred to the domain of ghosts, an alternate dimension that belonged to these spectral entities. His words hung in the air, leaving everyone once again rendered speechless by the eerie revelation. Breaking the silence, one person inquired about security guard Zhao's whereabouts. Another responded, mentioning that he had gone to inspect the circuit breaker and had not returned yet. Wang Xiao pressed on, cautioning that in the realm of the strange, ordinary people must exercise extreme care and refrain from violating the rules set by the ghosts, otherwise, the consequences could be as dire as seeking death. Faced with the unsettling reality, Wu Dehai sought guidance, asking Wang Xiao what their next course of action should be. Wang Xiao responded that their immediate priority was to find a way to escape this ominous realm, emphasizing the imminent danger posed by the ghosts. His grave words left everyone in stunned silence, gripped by fear. Suddenly, Fong Xiu, attuned to something familiar in the surroundings, declared the presence of a nearby ghost, sending shivers through the already frightened group. Fear etched on his face. One of the employees anxiously questioned Fong Xiu about his statement and urged him to point out the ghost. However, another person dismissed the notion, advising Fong Xiu not to joke during such a tense situation and accusing him of trying to frighten everyone. In the midst of this skepticism, a chilling reality unfolded as one of the employees was ensnared by ghostly tentacles, struggling in a desperate attempt to break free before ultimately vanishing. Fong Xiu somberly informed them that Wang Xiaoli had disappeared. The girl beside her, initially disbelieving, was shocked by the revelation. "You're talking nonsense. Wang Xiaoli was right next to me," she exclaimed. Frantically searching for her friend and finding her spot empty, she began calling out to Xiaoli, desperately urging her to respond. However, the ominous silence persisted. Turning to Fong Xiu, Wang Xiao inquired if he had caught a glimpse of what the ghost looked like. Remaining composed, Fong Xiu replied with a calm tone, stating that his view was obstructed, and he did not witness the appearance of the ghosts. He could only confirm seeing Wang Xiaoli disappearing without any further details about the entity responsible. As one of the employees fell victim to the ghosts, a sense of panic overtook the group. One employee questioned Fong Xiu's calm demeanor in the face of the supernatural events unfolding, while another speculated that he might be abnormal, perhaps even possessed by the ghosts. Wang Xiao, observing Fong Xiu's apparent lack of fear, asked directly if he was a spirit master, puzzled by his composure in the presence of the threatening ghosts. The revelation that Fong Xiu was unfamiliar with the term spirit master left Wang Xiao perplexed. He couldn't comprehend how Fong Xiu could maintain calm composure in the presence of the ghosts despite not being acquainted with the concept of a spirit master. Wang Xiao took it upon himself to explain that a spirit master is someone with the ability to control their spiritual essence. Drawing from personal knowledge, he mentioned that his cousin happened to be a spirit master. Emphasizing the potential significance of having a spirit master in their midst, Wang Xiao expressed the belief that breaking free from their current predicament would be considerably easier with such an individual among them. Fong Xiu, wearing a sinister smile, posed a question that caught Wang Xiao off guard. How could one become a spirit master? Wang Xiao, taken aback by Fong Xiu's sharp inquiries amidst the eerie circumstances, pondered the possibility that Fong Xiu might hold the key to their escape from the realm of the strange. Considering his cousin's insights, Wang Xiao explained to Fong Xiu that, according to his cousin, becoming a spirit master involved harnessing the power of ghosts and meeting two conditions simultaneously. The first involved undergoing a baptism of great terror, teetering on the edge between life and death, which would trigger intense emotional turmoil. The second condition was to come into direct contact with the ghosts, allowing their power to infiltrate one's soul. As Fong Xiu reflected, gazing at his hands, he contemplated the fact that despite the numerous encounters with death after crossing over, he had never truly come into contact with the ghosts. His wife, the ones all over the streets, and the ghosts in the mental hospital, as long as he didn't respond to them, they are just illusions from another dimension, and that doesn't count as contact. The realization struck Fong Xiu that the ghosts, once concealed in the darkness around them, had now crossed over into reality. Unlike before, these ghosts could inflict harm without the necessity of being seen. The prospect of gaining the ability to eliminate them through direct contact excited Fong Xiu. However, his train of thought was abruptly interrupted by a scream from one of his colleagues. Inquiring about the situation, she exclaimed that Jiao Liang was missing, prompting her to call out his name in a desperate attempt to locate him. Infuriated by her actions, Wang Xiao erupted in anger, ordering her to shut up immediately or risk attracting the attention of the ghosts. Fei Fei, her eyes filled with tears, turned to him for guidance, expressing her fear of disappearing. In response, Wang Xiao, still enraged, exclaimed, questioning why she was even asking him such a thing. Interrupting the heated exchange, Fong Xiu interjected with a chilling observation. He stated that there seemed to be a pattern, a 2 to 3 minute interval between each person's disappearance. He pointed out that after 3 minutes of security guard Zhao's disappearance, Wang Xiaoli vanished. Following this, after an additional 2 minutes, Jiao Liang disappeared. Deducting from this unsettling pattern, Fong Xiu speculated that, unless interrupted, someone else would likely disappear in the next 2 to 3 minutes. Fong Xiu's revelation left the group in shocked silence. Undeterred, Fong Xiu turned away and began walking. His friend, alarmed by his actions, questioned him, "Xiu, are you trying to get killed?" Fong Xiu glanced back, shaking his head, and responded, "Of course not. I'm looking for a way out. Did you expect me to stand here and wait for my doom?" Furious, Wang Xiao ordered Fong Xiu to stop and insisted that he should stay with the group, following his orders. Undeterred, Fong Xiu continued forward, reminding him that there were only 8 of them left. He emphasized that if they didn't take action, everyone would likely be wiped out in about 20 minutes. Wang Xiao, even angrier than before, exclaimed that Fong Xiu was just an ordinary person who knew nothing. In a sudden and chilling turn, Fong Xiu locked eyes with Wang Xiao, his gaze filled with murderous intent. He warned Wang Xiao that if he uttered one more word, he would kill him before the ghosts could. This threat left Wang Xiao horrified and shocked.